Hi, Neil O'Brien here, and I've got a 7-step process, selling price review process that can double your profits in 12 months. So I'm going to share with you just some of the templates I use. First one here, recent example, did some work with a software company who wanted to increase their pricing. And one of the exercises I get them to do is to work out the extra profit it will generate. And, you know, if you're if you're a business owner, like a lot of people, you might be thinking about increasing your pricing, but you're afraid of, oh, I'm going to lose clients. And this will help you work out how many clients you're going to use. So these are the numbers from that company. They had annual sales, 560,000. So if they increase the prices by 10%, that's 56,000. Extra profit goes straight to their bottom line. And that's the thing about a price increase, is that it can often have a huge positive, it will have a huge positive impact on your profits. Most businesses only have a profit margin of 7%. That's the average profit margin. So once you add a 10% price increase, it can have a huge increase on profits. Now, this business had, you can see the number of clients, 1,775. The average client value to them was 350 euros annually. So number of clients they would need to lose before they'd be worse off is 160. That's a huge number of clients. And this is a software product that's involved in helping people when they're buying their goods and products and so on. And I asked the owner earlier on, you know, how often do people use the product? And they were saying daily. So the stickability factor is quite big. And people use the product a lot. Okay, so that's one of the templates I use. And that was a huge eye-opener for them. Now, pricing options is another really good one. And what I like about this is you're tapping into human psychology. Okay, and this, I just have an example here of a wine shop. If 10 people go into a wine shop and there's only one type of wine there, it's 10 euros. All they can spend is 10 euros. So the sales, 10 people by 10 is 100. Now, a second scenario is where 10 people go into a wine shop to buy wine, and there's 3 options. I call it bronze, silver, gold. One is 10 euros, one bottle of wine. The next one is 12, and the third one is 14. Now, they've done hundreds of studies on this, and human behavior is quite predictable in this situation. So what will normally happen is that 2 people will go for the 10 euro bottle, most people will go for the middle option, and 2 will go for the most expensive. So by introducing 3 options, you can increase your sales by 20%. And I'm just using an example here of Mary, a web designer. A lot of people, when they're quoting for a job, just give one price. So say, for example, Mary was quoting for a job and she was going to give a price of 1,250. Now, what Mary can do is if she actually introduces 2 other price options, and when she's quoting for a job, each one will just have an extra little bit of service, or obviously she's adding something on. But if she gives 3 prices, 6 out of 10 people will go for the middle one. Mary can increase her pricing by 20, or sales by 20% by introducing a 3rd option. And what I love about it, you're tapping into the human psychology. Pricing formula, really important, whether you have a product service business or a product business. I go through templates there I use quite often. Now, 80-20 says that 20% of your customers will give you 80% of your profits. Now, here's an analysis I did for a web designer again. And what's really interesting is I just took her various clients over the last few months, got the sales and the number of hours she put in. So I worked out her hourly rate by client. And it's amazing. I've done this numerous times. When you do this exercise, you get a huge range of different hourly rates. The software company, 225, all the way down to the lowest is 33. And so what's happening here? One of the reasons here is that Mary is charging the software company more and the consulting and these people more than she does some of the other ones over here. That begs the question, well, could Mary be charging the HR company, the manufacturing company and so on a higher rate? Could she be charging them the same rate she's charging the software company? And the answer probably is yes, some of them will pay. So again, if you identify your 80-20, who are your best clients, your most profitable, you may well be charging them more. So that begs the question, well, why don't you charge some of your other clients the higher rate again? And that's another way of increasing your prices. Value to the client, this is kind of at the core of pricing, is what value did you deliver, because that can that's a huge factor in terms of how much somebody is willing to pay you. The more value you deliver, the more clients are willing to pay you. Competitor analysis is another one I've used a lot in pricing. And what I like about this is that a lot of people have a price in their head. They know what they're charging, and it's all, it's all internal, focused on them. What I like about competitor analysis is you're looking outside yourself to see what other businesses similar to you are charging. So Mary was a really good example. When she started off life as a web designer, her own business, she was charging 50 euros per hour. Now, what Mary realized when she went out and looked at her competitors, they were all higher than her. And in fact, one of them was 80 euros per hour. And Mary knew these people, okay? She's from the same town, and she reckoned she was better. So there was almost a bit of indignation or a bit of like pride coming into it. And Mary very quickly increased her rate up to 80 euros per hour. And that happened by her looking externally at her competitors to see, well, what are they charging? Now there's a whole series. Cost plus is at the core of it. Again, costs have gone up a lot over the last year. We all know that the cost of most things have gone up. So if your costs have gone up, you need to make sure that that's reflected in your pricing. Now, so I have 7 main steps I use. Now I have others as well that come into it, and I pick and select the templates based on the business I'm talking to. There's the whole price elasticity or stickability is, how easy or hard is it for somebody to switch? Profit gap, almost every business has a profit gap. The perils of discounting, why you should never discount because you're giving away way too much profit. Test the market. You can test the market to see how much they're willing to pay. And there's a whole approach you can use to that. Confidence is a huge factor in pricing. Again, different little techniques and stories around that. A strong guarantee. The idea of a guarantee is you're guaranteeing a certain result or outcome. And when you do that, it's more certain what you're delivering. Back to the value thing, again, is higher. You can charge a higher price. And power curve is the ability of certain people will always pay the most expensive item you have, if you have them. So tapping into that, again, it's a naturally occurring law. It's like if you fly from London to, say, New York, you might pay economy, you might pay 400 or 500 quid. There's people in business class and first class paying 5,000, 10, up to 20,000 for a higher quality experience on that flight. And the same thing applies to every business. So there are some of the templates I use. 7 main steps around selling price that can double your profits in 12 months. Okay, thanks for listening.